So, OnePlus has sent me out something. Can you think about what it is? Well, I'm pretty sure you already know. It's of course the OnePlus 10T Media Kit. Now, actually I really love media kits because, you know, the attention to detail and this box itself is just really nice. It has a really nice feel to it. Anyway, of course you are not here to talk about the box itself. Let's just talk about the OnePlus 10T. And straight away what you will notice compared to some other boxes from OnePlus is that this box is quite a bit smaller compared to their normal boxes. Normally they have quite a lot longer boxes compared to the OnePlus 10T. Either way, this is the box that you will get itself, of course, and not this media kit. Now with this media kit I also get some extras, which is right here at the bottom. These are two cases for, of course, the OnePlus 10T. Quite cool, and we're gonna see which one I'm gonna put up at the end. Either way, let's find out what we get with the OnePlus 10T, because that's what you're here for. Now, of course, the OnePlus 10T comes with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen Plus 1, which sounds like you're trying to solve a math equation, which is a weird name. Of course, here in this you have all your manual SIM ejection tool and so on. And then of course you are greeted with the phone itself. We're gonna come back to that one in a little bit. Now of course, when you open the box you will find out that you get a huge charging brick. Now this is 160 watt compared to, of course, what you are charging at with 150 watt. This is basically to allow your phone to charge 150 watt consistently. So if there's a drop for some reason, it still allows, of course, the 10 watt difference to compensate for it and still allows you to charge at that 150 watt. One thing, of course, is that you will need to use the cable that you get with the phone itself. 160 watt going through a normal cable, I would definitely not advise that. So of course that is provided for you as well. Now what I really do like is, of course, it is USB-C to USB-C, and this makes it just a bit more modern, and that for me makes sense. Either way, let's talk about the phone itself. Now I stated it comes with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, no, sorry, I'm saying that wrong. It comes of course with the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which again is a weird name. Now there are some changes compared to, of course, for instance, the OnePlus 10 Pro. Now the main thing that you will notice is, for instance, that there is no slider on the OnePlus 10T. Now I asked why this is. Basically they said they didn't have space, but for me I think they should have made the space. It's something that makes OnePlus unique, and I feel like they should have kept it. With that being said, they also said to me straight away that this is the only version that will actually not have a mute switch. This is just a one-time deal for the OnePlus 10T. I don't know why, but yeah, there we go. We will also note that there is, of course, not a Hasselblad branding on the side of the camera itself compared to, for instance, the OnePlus 10 Pro. This doesn't mean that the camera is bad by any means, it just means that it doesn't have a collaboration with Hasselblad when it comes to the camera setup and of course on how it works. I imagine though that the experience itself won't differ that much, and the result itself, we're gonna have to discuss that later on. When it comes to the camera setup, we have a 50 megapixel main sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and of course a 2 megapixel, macro. And then of course we have our flash ring that we've seen on, of course, the OnePlus 10 Pro as well. When it comes to the back itself, we actually don't get a matte back or a frosted back or anything like that. We actually get a glossy back, but I think that it works really well in this color combination. I will have to say that this is gonna leave fingerprint marks quite well. In terms of the color itself, it allows for some of it to be hidden, but honestly this is just gonna leave some fingerprint marks compared to some other phones that actually have a frosted back, for instance the OnePlus 10 Pro. Now I will have to say that I do like the color on the OnePlus 10 Pro better, but this color combination definitely works well. I also like how they've flown the camera more with the packing itself. It does work really nicely. Of course I still like my centered camera better, but honestly when you look at it in real life, I think it looks actually quite nice. Now when it comes to the display itself, it's a 6.7 inch display and of course 120 Hz AMOLED and so on, and it gets about 1000 nits of brightness. We're gonna all test it out and see how it performs just in general when it comes to the OnePlus 10T, and of course how it works with the new Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which still sounds like a math equation. Either way, when it comes to the OnePlus 10T, there are some changes that I'm curious to see how it affects the general user experience for the phone itself. I think overall though, I will have to say that it actually feels really nice in the hand. compared to some other phones that I've tested, it fits really nicely. Yes, it's still of course quite large and it's not natural to reach the tops, but that's something that you expect from modern phones. Of course, there is no headphone jack or a micro SD slot, which is a real shame to see. But yeah, what do you expect these days? I really would love to see that feature back, but on this one, we don't. We also have now flat top and bottom as well. Doesn't mean that it can stand up by itself. Yes, it can, somewhat. It's shaky. But this makes it easier to film as well. I don't think anyone will use it in real life, but if you were wondering, yes, it can stand up by itself. Now, some other things to note as well is that the OnePlus 10T does come with USB 2.0 instead, of course, 3.1 that you will find on, for instance, the OnePlus 10 Pro. This makes a difference that, for instance, you don't have HDMI out. If this is important for you, be sure that you know that this doesn't feature it. When it comes to the speakers itself, of course, we have stereo speakers. We're gonna find out in the full review, of course. Stay tuned for that, how that one performs. And of course, we're gonna see how it performs just in general with the camera itself, because we do have an 8 megapixel ultra wide, which often means that it's quite a soft profile when it comes to that camera sensor. Of course, with the experience that I have with some other phones, but the main sensor is still the Sony IMX766, which is a fine sensor. We're just gonna have to find out how that one performs. Now, of course, when it comes to video recording, max recording is at 4K and 60 frames per second, and of course you have some slow-mo motions up to 480 frames per second as well. When it comes to the front-facing camera, it's a 60 megapixel front-facing camera, and we're just gonna make sure on how much performance that one is. It's 1080p, so no 4K selfie recording on, of course, the OnePlus 10T. Now, when it comes to unlocking your phone, you have your normal password and so on, but you also have your fingerprint scanner and, of course, your face unlock as well. When it comes to memory, you either have 128 GB or 256 GB of memory, and it is UFS 3.1, so pretty much the fastest memory. The RAM itself is LPDDR5. When it comes to the color options, you either have Moonstone Black or this Jade Green that I have right here. It's a light-ish green and it's not comparable to the OnePlus 10 Pro, but honestly, again, as I said before, the combo itself works really well with the black itself. Now, something I'm curious about is, of course, the cases themselves. With the OnePlus 10T, sadly, you don't get a case inside the box itself, so if you do get this phone, make sure that you get a case with it as well. Now, for the media box itself, we have two different versions. Of course, we have the black one, and of course, this different looking one. Let's find out how they call it. They call it Gracier Matte Case. Okay, there you go. But let's find out how that one actually looks on the OnePlus 10T. Okay, open sides, which I actually really like. This is something that I've seen from Rebel cases as well. Link in the description. From Philip, actually, from Everything Apple Pro. But this is actually quite nice. Good amount of grip, so I do actually like this case itself. Yeah, this looks actually quite nice, especially because of the open sides itself. It is something that feels great in the hand itself, because you still feel the frame of the phone, but it gives a lot of grip to the phone as well. Either way, this is the OnePlus 10T, and of course my first impressions and unboxing of the phone itself. This is not a full review, stay tuned for that, because I cannot have an opinion in 2 days of using this phone and then tell you what is good and what is bad. I want to use a phone for a longer amount of time and see how it performs, just in general and in normal day-to-day life, instead of me, of course, running around trying to take a lot of pictures and then base the performance on that. Either way, stay tuned for that, and for that, of course, don't forget to subscribe. Hit like, of course, as well, because that helps out the video. And comment below what you think about the OnePlus 10T. What do you think about the miss of course, the mute switch as well? And of course, how badly do you want the 3.5mm headphone jack back? Because that's definitely something that I miss on my current phone. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and of course, talk to you guys in the next.